So, after not a whole lot of time waiting, we finally got a new operation. And let me just say this, I think this might actually be the best one we got so far. In terms of, like, objectives and everything, it's all very different from what we've been doing. I mean, the look of the place also is great. Like, the art team killed it here, I'd say, a lot of the time. It just looks just so clean. It looks legit like Tyranid invasion, and this is what I would want out of like a new operation. Like it's just so good. So one to what I would think the Warhammer verse would be like, too, because like I'll say it, probably noticeable, but I'm a little new to Warhammer. I've been fighting off the addiction, for years now. But with the release of this game, I was finally able to cave and get into this addiction head first, and yeah, it's one of those things that you're gonna like, but you just don't know how much. Yeah, Warhammer 40K especially is just that. Like, this game showed me just how beautiful the grim dark universe can be, and it does not disappoint. I feel like the devs kind of understand a lot of this too, because I mean, look at this place. It's just riddled with biomass and corpses of the guys here that they've been eating and feeding on. Tyranids turning every living thing into biomass, and the straws, like the meat tubes that they have going into the atmosphere, man. Like, God, that shit rocks so hard. Tyranids were like the first real exposure I had to this universe, and I just fell in love with them. So I'm really glad that they're showcasing some of their stuff a bit more. I mean, the giant Hierophant, I think is his name, the Bio Titan. That dude is awesome, okay? Truly one of the greatest enemies you can fight. Even if it's not a direct fight, it's like, who cares? It's still a spectacle, it's still super fucking cool. Even on replays, sure, you may get tired of doing it after a while, but it's still fucking cool, man. Like, it's still awesome. The mission itself has really good layouts for the waves to just pile on in and swarm you. I mean, look at this stairwell. It's like a giant spiral, it's so good. I mean, talking about spectacles, I mean, just look at this final fight area. It's beautiful, people. The mission itself really nails that feeling of you're being overwhelmed and you have to actually do something. You have to make the hard decisions here and there. It's like, do I go for the objective while this giant bastard is spitting on it, basically? Even if you do it, you're gonna die more than likely. I mean, that's part of the fun, though. Being caught in something so bad that you just can't get out of it because you weren't paying attention. It's kind of on you at that point, but like, you know, you get caught with your back turned to it, it's not gonna feel good, of course, but it's still awesome. Like, an actual threat in here that you have to worry about, like, it feels like some of the enemies just, if you get too used to the combat, a lot of them can't really touch your health a lot of the time if you're really crazy. And if you're playing like on a Vanguard, for example, even if they do hit your red health, you can just get it back with melee finishers on, the, I think they're called Warriors, anything Majoris or higher. But if they could, give us actual on the ground enemies that we could fight with the level of threat that the Bio Titan has, I would be pretty stoked about that. I know we're gonna be getting more and more enemies, sure, but we need more stuff down here, of course, but it's still really neat, like I'm saying. Like, the Bio Titan is done well. It just, initially I thought it was gonna be more something we fought like a Terminus level enemy, something that is like a boss that comes in the middle of like a round or something. That's what I thought initially, but it's still amazing. I just hope that as we go on, we start getting more stuff like that and more, you know, fodder choices, all that, like just a little bit sprinkled into each one of the like tiers of enemies would be good. Just so we're not fighting only warriors, only what are they, Hormagaunts or whatever, these little guys. You know, just like a little bit of but I mean that's why the spores are there though, I guess. And you know, if you go into Chaos, it's all the Xanagors and stuff, and they have cultists alongside them too. So we have a decent amount of variety, but like one, just all of the tiers of enemies wouldn't hurt. You know, it would actually probably go a long way in terms of combat variety. You know, but who knows what we have in the pipeline? You know, they probably have some crazy stuff for us that none of us even know about yet, of course, because it's not out, which does make me kind of excited to see what they're gonna do. Because with the way this mission is handled, honestly, I think they're gonna do just fine. You know, like it feels like there's better things on the horizon. You know, with this here, like just a sign of good things to come. You know, as long as the modifiers are worked out and stuff for the higher difficulties and whatnot, it'll be crazy good. Eventually, by the time Horde mode hits, it'll probably be ironed out, of course, and Horde mode itself would be pretty crazy, I imagine, with these kind of modifiers and stuff. And depending on the stages, my God, we get areas like in this map, it'd be pretty baller. I'm gonna be honest with you, it'd be pretty pimpin'. All right. Going back to the mission seems pretty, you know, lore friendly, I guess. I mean, this place quite legitimately looks like nothing is left, and the Tyranids are just tearing everything apart bit by bit with their overwhelming force that they're well known for, of course. That's why everything is just so beyond repair and fucked, you know? Like, it feels like they nailed the aesthetic of this mission, you know? Like, from what I know, we've lost the planet at this point in the story, right? So, like, yeah, it would look pretty bad. It would not look, you know, pretty. It would look like shit. It would look like this, you know? So I think they nailed that to a T, you know? It's just beautiful seeing all of the swarms of the flyers in the air, making sure nothing really can break through the air defenses they have while the stuff on the ground just tears away at anything still living, you know? Like, God, it rocks, man. Tyranids rock. Fucking love them. I really can't wait for other factions, too, sure. Like, you know, Necrons would be cool. I'd love to see Orcs again, but, like, honestly, these Tyranids just so clean and it's simple, you know? It's just a menacing threat. They just want to consume everything, you know? And you actually see it in this mission, you know, like you get a feel for it. Unlike in any other, like, you know, consuming lore videos doesn't do it for you. You gotta see it for yourself, you know, like that's the kind of shit I'm talking about here. They nailed it. It feels like Tyranid Invasion just 101. Alright, it's awesome. And I mean, we're here to just stop them from like consuming more biomass by destroying the straws, right? Apparently, so like pretty cool, you know? I mean, we don't destroy the straws themselves, but destroying the Biotitan, you know, it's a step along the way, you know what I mean? It's just cool, alright? All this Warhammer stuff's just cool, okay? As a new guy looking into all this, it's a shame I waited over 20 goddamn years to get into this stuff, you know, because it's just right up my alley. So fucking cool, and I can only hope that more and more people experience it, you know, and think the same at the end of the day. I know the people that have been a part of the hobby for years at this point have been saying the same, so I definitely get it, you know, even as the new guy on the block.